The first complaint came in as a noise report. A woman said she could hear breathing inside her walls, not pipes. Not rats, breathing. The police logged it as stress-related and closed the case in under 5 minutes. 3 weeks later, she was dead. Her name was Nora Whitfield, 31 years old, worked from home, lived alone in a renovated apartment building that used to be a textile factory. Thick walls, old vents, hidden crawl spaces, no one ever bothered to map properly. When neighbors described her in interviews, they all said the same thing. She was paranoid toward the end. They said she taped vents shut. They said she slept with lights on. They said she kept asking if anyone else heard scratching at night. No one took her seriously, not until the smell started. Police entered Nora's apartment after her job reported 3 days of no contact. There were no signs of forced entry, no broken locks, no struggle. She was found in her bedroom, lying on her back, eyes open, mouth slightly parted. Cause of death was listed as cardiac arrest due to extreme stress. That should have been the end of it. But one officer noticed something odd. The vent above her bed had been removed. Inside the wall, they found fingerprints, fresh ones. That discovery reopened the case and uncovered something far worse than murder. They learned Nora hadn't been the first to complain. Over the past 2 years, 6 tenants from the same building had reported similar things. Sounds in the walls, objects moved slightly overnight. Food missing, but only small amounts, a sense of being watched while sleeping. Each report was dismissed. One tenant moved out suddenly. To develop severe anxiety, one was hospitalized after claiming someone whispered his name through the wall. And Nora was dead. Police brought in building inspectors and tore sections of the walls open. What they found changed the case from suspicious death to one of the most disturbing crime scenes the city had ever documented. Between the walls was a crawl system wide enough for a man to move through. Someone had been living there. Blankets, food wrappers, plastic bottles filled with urine, and dozens of holes drilled just large enough to see through, every hole lined up with a bed. Including Nora's. They realized the breathing she heard wasn't imagined. Someone had been inches from her face while she slept. Detectives initially assumed homelessness, squatting, but the longer they searched, the more organized it looked. This wasn't survival, this was routine. Hidden cameras were discovered next cheap, battery-powered, taped inside vents. Many were dead, but some still held data. The footage was cataloged. What they saw made seasoned investigators step out of the room. The video showed Nora sleeping, hours of it, night after night. Sometimes the camera angle shifted slightly, as if adjusted by hand. Then they found older footage, different apartments. Different tenants, same pattern. The person behind the camera never spoke, never entered the room fully. Never touched anything while being recorded. Until Nora, on the final video, timestamped 3 nights before her death, the camera shakes. Heavy breathing is audible. A hand reaches through the vent, hesitates, then withdraws. Nora stirs in her sleep. The breathing stops. Police realized something critical. He had been losing control. They traced fingerprints to a man named Elliot Kane, 42, former maintenance contractor for the building during its renovation years earlier. He had access to blueprints that no longer existed digitally. He knew where the crawl spaces were sealed, and he never moved out. He was fired years ago for inappropriate behavior that was never specified in records. When police tracked him down, they didn't find him in an apartment. They found him inside the building, in the walls. Elliot had created a living system between units. He moved only at night. He memorized tenant schedules. He listened to routines, learned breathing patterns. Learned when someone was deeply asleep. During interrogation, Elliot spoke calmly. Too calmly, he said he never intended to kill anyone. He said he just liked to observe people when they were honest. When asked what that meant, he replied, "People lie when they're awake. When they sleep, their body tells the truth." The medical examiner later testified that Nora's heart stopped after prolonged fear, not a sudden shock. Hours of terror. She had woken up. She had seen him. Marks on her mattress indicated pressure, as if someone had been leaning down over her for a long time. Close enough for breath to be felt, but not close enough to leave fingerprints. Elliot admitted to watching her panic. He said he didn't touch her. He said he just waited. After the arrest, police rechecked the building. They found more holes, some newer, some recently covered. Elliot had been preparing for new tenants. The building was evacuated and sealed. But here's the part that never made the news. During demolition, workers discovered another crawl space, smaller, cruder, not part of the original structure. Inside it were different supplies, smaller blankets, different handwriting on food packaging, and a message scratched into the wood. I wasn't alone. The case was officially closed. No second suspect was ever identified, but former tenants still report something strange. Even after the building was torn down, they say they still wake up at night, certain they can hear breathing right behind the walls.